or الشعر في العصر الجاهلي, poetry during Islamic pre-Islamic period. And we had discussed some of the eminent poets of that period, uh, like Imrul Qais and Zuhair ibn Abi Sulma and many others, but not in details, okay, because details, as I mentioned, are already available in your study material. We discussed the Ash'ar al-Jahili, and why it is called Ash'ar al-Jahili. We also mentioned about muallaqat, and what are these muallaqat, hanging poems or hanging notes, and why they are so important. Then we discussed the main features of Ash'ar al-Jahili or Jahili poetry or pre-Islamic poetry. What are the main features of this kind of poetry that developed during those time? We then move to prose, and we discussed development of prose, but the prose during that time was only in the form of sermons, al khutbah or al khataba, that was only oral tradition, means like delivering sermons and before a group of audience, and it was not in a written form. So writing was not very common, or even not common, because papers were not there, and press was not there. Means the books that you see today were not available those days in this form. Okay, there might have been different ways where people used to communicate through writing, and using certain things like leaves of tree and stones, and skins, dried skins, and leather, and all these. Okay, so using all these for writing purpose was the common, but writing itself was not very popular. Okay, very few people knew how to write, and so knowledge was transferred from one person to another, from one place to another, and from one region to another through oral communication. So oral tradition was very common, and that is why poetry flourished, because it was easy for the people to memorize the poetry during those period. And uh, only other form that could develop was this oratory, or al-khataba. Now, then we moved to Islamic period, and here we saw some eminent poets like Hassan ibn Sabit and Ka'ab ibn Zuhair, who are considered among the leading poets who defended the new religion and new message that was propagated by prophet of uh, prophet during those time. So these poetry itself was became of less importance. It was it could not gain that stature or that recognition or the prestige that it got during pre-Islamic time. And the reason we mentioned was a revelation of Holy Quran and the traditions of Prophet. So these these had these texts had unique, especially Quran has unique linguistic beauty. It has its own beautiful style, and so many Arabs, in fact, uh, uh, they thought that our poetry cannot match the style and the beauty of Holy Quran. So that was one reason why. Another, that most poets of the time were considered as deviated from the path of the right path. So poetry was not encouraged much during this period, because it was thought that poets do encourage people to uh, adopt wrong path, or they certain poetry thus encourage certain immoral, behavior, or uh, uh, manner. So this was the kind of this. So main focus of entire generation of the period was understanding Holy Quran, and benefiting from the teachings available there. So poetry became of less importance, during this period. uh, Prose also developed during this period, but again the form was the same. Like oratory became very popular, very common, and very effective. During those, so Prophet himself, in fact, relied on sermons, and he used to convey his message time and again through delivering important sermons on some famous occasions. So his sermons are very popular, and they are recorded, in fact, and present in important literary works of Arabic, and important texts of Arabic. So even today, people can read and appreciate those beautiful pieces. And then other caliphs, in fact, like Hazrat Abu Bakr, Hazrat Umar, Hazrat Uthman, Hazrat Ali, they too also became equally famous in their, you know, in through their sermons, in fact. And the kind of the Arabic, and the kind of language they used are considered to be the masterpiece of this form of oratory is considered to be the masterpiece of all the oratories. So people still present as example, as as a model for anybody who exercises uh, this form. So this is pre-Islamic poetry, pre-Islamic prose, then Islamic prose and Islamic poetry during Islamic period, and prose during Islamic period. And now after that, we would like to move to unit number 50, and this is al khataba fil asr al umri. So prose, what type of prose was there, and what what condition, how al khataba was during those period, al fil asr al umri. So it's a long unit, and we have given so much information in this that it is very difficult for you to, in fact, to for anybody to at this stage to go through everything. But I want my learners, in fact, to just focus on to gain some important points from this. So suppose here al khataba fil asr al umri, and it has al muqaddama, and then المعلومات أو المناقشة حول الموضوع. And uh, so what type of al-khataba or oratory was this, and uh, what were its main features? So all that is given here. I think that some of you should read it, and try to find some important names or important persons who gain fame in this form. So among those who became really famous during this period are Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, and Omar ibn Abdul Aziz, and Musa ibn Nasir, uh, Amr ibn al-As, and Al-Hajjaj, means Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, and he is very famous ruler, and he was appointed the governor of Iraq once upon a time. And people were uh, when, when conditions were out of control there, and no ruler could in fact successfully rule that province for a long time, because people of Iraq used to create a lot of trouble for the ruler. So the ruler himself used to flee and take shelter somewhere. So this was the condition when Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf took charge of that province, and within within days he improved the situations, and he managed the situation through powerful oratory. Okay, he invited the people to come to the main mosque on the day of Friday, prayer, and he started giving them sermons, and the message was so clear, so blunt and powerful and blunt, that in fact he 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 controlled the situations, and all these vagabonds people, all those who were creating troublemakers, all those, they were, he controlled everyone. So this was the, his style of working, his his leadership ability, and also his oratory skill, all played very important role in managing the situation in Iraq during those time. Okay, another important figure who gained a lot of attention during this period is Ziyad ibn Abi, and important pieces of these khutbah or khutab, or these are available even today. Anybody who wants to enjoy or appreciate the beauty of these sermons can consult, okay, these important books. And also in this chapter also we have mentioned some iqtibas, some pieces are also available there. So we have, everything is there, okay. And we have made people like uh, they themselves can consult either books in original, or at least they can go through these literary pieces that we have given in the unit. So you can go through it, and but important thing here is to understand the development of main features of al-khataba during this period, and also who are the prominent people. So we mentioned some people, okay, who like Amr ibn al-As, Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, and now Ziyad ibn Abi. Uh, then Sahban Wail, Tariq ibn Ziyad, and many of you, in fact, might be aware about Tariq ibn Ziyad, how he delivered the powerful sermon to his army, and he said that al-bahru min waraikum wal adu amamakum, means when his army crossed a river, so um, uh, he burned the boat, and he said, now there is no return for you, so you have to become victorious here. So he said, al bahru min waraikum wal adu amamakum, so there is the ocean behind you, and you cannot go back, and there is enemy there before you, so and you are in between these two, okay, so where will you go now? And then he started encouraging them and all that, okay, through his sermon, all right. So it has like electric effect on the people, and it suddenly inspired them, and to go ahead and accomplish and their work, okay, accomplish it. So this this shows very clearly, just like in the case of Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, his sermon played a very important role in improving the situation in Iraq, which was out of control. In fact, this the sermon by khutbah by Tariq ibn Ziyad, you know, immediately encouraged and inspired the people to to uh, uh, to sacrifice themselves for the sake of a good cause. Okay, so this was the power of that period, of that oratory. Okay, during the period, everything is conveyed oral, in a oral way, and oral tradition was popular. Khutbah was very effective, and people used to come to listen to their rulers, to their commanders, and to the great men, and then take a lot of inspiration from them, and then do whatever they guided them to do it. Okay, so this was indeed very 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 important thing, and this certainly played a very crucial role. So you all that you need to do is, we do not want you to remember and memorize the khutbah. Okay, though that is available in important works of Arabic literature. But all that we want you to just go through these names and remember these names, okay? Because whenever there is question, suppose that write about the development of oratory during suppose Umayyad period, so you need to mention here all these important figures: Sahban Wild and Tariq ibn Ziyad, Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, Ziyad bin Abi, and many others who are, whose name has been mentioned here. Okay, so unit is, a lot of detail is in the unit, and it is up to you. You have to pick and choose. You have to select certain important points from this and then make your preparation accordingly. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Uh, then other, in fact, religious people and Sufis were also equally competent, miss, and famous in delivering sermons. And among the most important figures, religious figures, is Al Hasan al Basri. Okay, he was eminent, religious figure of his time, and very inspiring personality. He his his khutbah is available in important literary works, and it has very, powerful appeal and very effective. So you should, mention his name as well, Al Hasan al Basri. And many other different sects also, because during this period in Islam, other sects also had started emerging, like Al Khawarij and Al Mu'tazila, and many others. So these school sects, or with a different school of thoughts, had their own, orators, or their own people who could propagate their message, who could defend their own point of view, and who could present themselves in a very effective manner among their, opponents and among their followers both. So this these different sects, they themselves had their own figures and their own leaders who could, effectively uh, excel in this field. Okay, in khutbah. And then comes this then uh, 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 important feature, of this period, is that oratory was uh, largely connected with the, rural flavor. Okay, rural taste and the language. Okay, so that is why it has that kind of beauty and vitality and effectiveness, al fasaha, okay, and al balagha. So al khutbah كانت فصيحة وبليغة جدا في هذا العصر. Okay. Uh, if you read poetry, فلو قرأت خطبة حجاج بن يوسف، أو خطبة زياد بن أبي، أو خطبة حسن البصري، أو خطبة الخطباء أو العمراء المعروفين الآخرين، كلهم في الحقيقة كانوا قد مم، آه، قدموا أفكارهم في صورة رائعة بديعة مؤثرة وخالية من التكلف، في لغة مؤثرة، لغة عذبة وخالية من التكلف. Okay. So very neat and clean, very neat and clean language, very effective language. And most of the khutbah continue even to ring in the ear if you read those sentences again. And many others, in fact, even today, uh, keep on memorizing those important literary pieces, which are no doubt excellent literary pieces. So few people can match them in fasaha and balagha. Okay, in the effectiveness of the language, in the beautiful presentation, in the style that they had adopted. So all this is unique, no doubt. Okay. Now this unit does have certain examples, and you can read those if you have time, and you you can understand it. So I will recommend that you should read. So this will only add to your knowledge, to your understanding of Arabic literature, and this will help you improve your language as well, because you will gain certain important you will gain certain important expressions through those this, and this will add to your knowledge at the end of the day. So and it's not long, certain uh, para only has been selected from these khutbah, uh, to give you just a taste. So khutbah Ziyad ibn Tariq ibn Ziyad, suppose kha, you see here alif ba ta tha jim ha, though all the khutbah are very important, and uh, you, you can understand, beauty of the language, and uh, like so I am just presenting this khutbah Tariq ibn Ziyad, and see the language. Okay, ayyuhan nas, ayyuhan nas, ayn al mafar, ayyuhan nas, ayn al mafar, al bahr min al bahr wara'akum wal adu amamakum, al bahr wara'akum wal adu amamakum, وعالموا أنكم في هذه الجزيرة أضيع من الأيتام في معدبة اللئام، ولا وزر لكم إلا سيوفكم، ولا أقواط إلا ما تستخلصونه من أيدي عدوكم، وإن امتدت بكم الأيام على افتقاركم ولم تنجزوا لكم أمرا ذهب ريحكم، واعلموا أنكم إن صبرتم على الأشق قليلا استمتعتم بالأرفع الألذ طويلا، واعلموا أني أول مجيب إلى ما دعوتكم إليه، وإني عند ملتقى الجمعين حامل بنفسي على طاقة القوم. So see this entire, okay, the beauty. Then khutbatu ha, just above it, this para khutbatu saban, while, and here amma ba'd fa inna dunya daru mamar wal akhiratu daru maqar fakhudhu min mamarrikum ila maqarrikum wa la tahtaku astarakum عندما لا تخفى عليه أسراركم وأخرجوا من الدنيا قلوبكم قبل أن تخرج منها أبدانكم، ففيها حييتم ولغيرها خلقتم، اليوم عمل بلا حساب وغدا حساب بلا عمل. So see, this is, short sentences, but very powerful, and he's trying to convey the message in a such beautiful, effective, and amazing way that is, unparalleled. So this is these are, so certain examples have already been given. You can go through it and uh, uh, enjoy it. Okay. And the good thing about this unit is that you have explanation, though in Arabic, but it will also help you, at least some of you, to enjoy this text more. Okay, you understand. And then question answer and all these. Okay, so it's a long unit, but I think uh, you can select certain important points from this unit and make preparation. So uh, just to prepare note, like how did this, khutbah or sermons develop during this period. Okay, how did all this uh, develop. Okay, so you can make preparation accordingly. And who were the important figures or important personalities uh, uh, who focused on this, okay, and who are known as the great orators of this period. So great orators of this period, of Umayyad period, you should be able to, recognize and write it, okay, whenever there is such type of question. Okay, so I think you should prepare and prepare it well. Okay. Now, moving to major Arab poets in Umayyad period, and this is equally important because we have covered this, means الشعر في العصر الإسلامي الشعر في العصر الجاهلي. Now الشعر في العصر الأموي. What type of poetry was there during Umayyad period? Now we are going to discuss this. Okay, so open it and uh, just uh, try to understand. So what was the main feature? Again, the same thing. So you should be able to understand the main feature of Jahili poetry or pre-Islamic poetry, main feature of Islamic poetry or poetry of Islamic period, and the main features of Umayyad period. Okay, especially the poetry of Umayyad period. Okay, so this at least you should be able to prepare and understand. And who were the major poets associated with during this period? Okay, with this period. So Umayyad period poets, Islamic period poets, and pre-Islamic period poets. Okay, all you should be able to uh, mention. Let's understand and mention it. Okay. So uh, different tribes, poets from different tribes flourished during this period. Uh, then uh, different phases. Okay, this is how Umayyad poetry evolved. So details you find here. Uh, uh, then أغراض الشعراء العصر العموي فيما يلي. Now, what were the main objectives of the poetry during this? What were the topics they focused on? What were the issues they highlighted? What were the problems and main things that they took up? So all that is mentioned here. And then comes this important poets of the period. So one of the most prominent poet is Al-Farazdaq. Al-Farazdaq is a poet known and famous during Umayyad period, and uh, he was among three poets who became really very famous because there was like certain degree of competition among the poets, and everyone wanted to excel or outperform other. So Al-Farazdaq, Wal Akhtal, wa Jarir. These three were very important, poetic figures of the time, or important pillars, you can say, of the time. And there was certain degree of rivalry among them. So they used to praise their own tribe and condemn and uh, marginalize other, and they always highlighted their achievement, their great works, and at the cost of other. Okay, so there was great degree of rivalry among Frazdak and Jarir, and also Al-Akhtal. Okay, so النقيز الشعر شعر النقيز, what we call. Okay, that is why this kind of poetry is called شعر نقيز, where most of the time poets used to uh, mm, used to target other poet. Okay, and mm, uh, demolish his work and his achievement, and highlighted himself or praised his works and his achievements, and tried to get reward from the kings and princes, from the rulers, for his works, and always demonize others. Okay, so this kind of poetry flourished, and it's very, as people do read it and sometimes laugh, okay, at this, but despite all these, competition and rivalry and all that, poetry flourished, and these, in fact, even while commenting others on others, and even criticizing rivals, they still served the language and contributed to the development of Arabic poetry and development of literature through their poetic work. What they produced during the process, the kind of the poetry which certainly enriched the language, and which is considered, some of it is considered a masterpiece. So Al-Farazdaq, for example, his poem هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطأته. So this one became very famous, and while he praises Imam uh, uh, Ali bin Hussein Zainul Abidin, or if I remember correctly. Okay, so he praised him. he highlighted his achievements, his greatness, and all that. So هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطاعته والحل يعرف this kind of, the هذا النبي تقي نقي صاحب العلم, something okay, like that. ما قال لا قط إلا في تشهده. Okay, if I remember certain, couplet. ما قال لا قط إلا في تشهده لولا التشهد كانت لاؤه نعم. Okay, so he went to praise him to this extent, that ما قال لا. See, this uh, this Ali bin Hussein, uh, he's such a great, personality. He's such an eminent person, and all that happened during tawaf, pilgrimage of Holy Kaaba, when he was performing that pilgrimage. So somebody just to diminish his stature, just he commented. Somebody commented, no, Marwan perhaps, or Caliph of the time, was also there. So to diminish his stature, and to he saw that people are flocking to him, and someone is kissing his head, I mean his hand, and someone is falling on the feet. I mean, people are just like flocking to him. So he developed some jealousy maybe, or something. So he said, who is this person? Okay, as if he is very, very well known, unknown and figure, and who is this? Okay, just he said, man hada, man hada. Okay, who is this? And when Al-Farasdaq, who was great and great admirer of Imam, and he was very much impressed with him, he was so fine, okay, of Imam. He heard these words, so he could not tolerate it, and he just started saying this. هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء بطحه. This is the person whose entire Batha, his entire this wadi of Jaziratul Arab, all these people here in this land, each and everybody knows him. Okay, each and everybody knows him, even his steps. Okay, everybody is well aware of his steps. Okay, steps, उनके कदमों के निशानात को लोग पहचानते हैं. Okay, people know him. So this way uh, uh, he started praising him. Okay, and then he went on to say, هذا هذا ما قال لا. Okay, ما قال لا قط. Illa, in this poem, he even praised that even when he goes to kiss the holy Kaaba and its wall and all that. So Ruknul Hatim, okay, Jaa Yastalimu. So that this pillar and all these time surrounding, as if itself the pillar is moving forward to kiss him. Okay, and to grab him. No, he was this way appreciating and praising his important. Now he said ما قال لا قط إلا في تشهده لولا التشهد كانت لاؤه نعم. Imam, okay, never said la in his life. Okay, means everything is naam. Means whenever you come with your needs and requirements and you knock his door or for anything, he never returned anybody. He never said no. So there is this word no, la is not in his dictionary. Okay, ma qala la qattu, never did he say la. Okay, illa fi tashahudi, except in his tashahud. His tashahud, when he sits for prayer, and there you find uh, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna muhammad. So ashhadu an la ilaha. So because there is la already inherent there and present there, so la only time when he or place he said la is this tashahud. Okay, here this word he used la. Otherwise he never used la. No is not in his dictionary. So ما قال لا قط إلا في تشهدي لولا التشهد كانت لاؤه نعمة. And had there been not this tashahud, okay, to be recited during prayer and to be said, so this la also could have been naam for him. All right. Now that's the kind of personality. So he was saying that you are saying that who is this? You are not recognized, but you don't recognize, but the whole world knows him. Okay, everybody knows. Even these pillars and these bricks and mortars of this holy place, they know him. Okay, everything, everybody knows him. So to he started diminishing, or the stature of ruler of the time. He said that if you don't know, doesn't matter at all. Okay, others do know it, and has got his name and fame, and he is very popular. So he's al-Frazdak, okay, the kind of. Now, uh, such type of poetry certainly had its own powerful appeal, and it had impact on the minds and hearts of the people, and even till today it is ringing in the ears of all those who love this poetry, okay, this kind of Arabic poetry and Arabic literature. So this Al-Frazdak was the poet, and Al-Frazdak was known for his rivalry. He never tolerated any nonsense. He never tolerated any, anything that was untrue, and he always projected himself or his, his group as, or his tribe or his people as one of the finest, and always tried to, when it came to defending himself or his tribe, he was the finest. When it came to demolishing others and other poets and other rivals, he was also equally very competent in that. So, but Al-Frazdak is not only one. Jarir was equally very famous in this, and Al-Akhtal, another poet. So all these three very important figures, though they never tolerated each other, they fought each other during their lifetime, and always had a strong, deeply entrenched, rivalry, and uh, but all that is fact, and that is there, but they enriched Arabic poetry through their uh, works, and especially their even their naqais, okay, even they, while finding fault with others, in fact, and saying all this in a poetic form, they contributed a lot to Arabic poetry, and their contribution is well recognized, okay. So they became eminent poets, and they continue to remain the eminent poets of Umayyad period. So whenever you you read or you consult the books or material related to the development of Arabic poetry during Umayyad period, you will always find mention mentioned names of these figures. Okay, you will find there. Now, Namath is min sharihi, and as I have just recited at least a couplet of this, so this namuzaj, or this namuzaj or example, is already there. Same poem, and if you like, I can read once again, or you can read. Okay, because this is very beautiful. So هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطأته، هذا الذي تعرف البطحاء وطأته، والبيت يعرف والحل والحرم، هذا ابن خير عباد الله كلهم، هذا التقي النقي الطاهر العلم، هذا ابن فاطمة إن كنت جاهله، بجده أنبياء الله قد ختموا، وليس وليس قولك من هذا بظاهره، العرب تعرف من أنكرت والعجم. Okay, إلى, and then last line إذا رأته قريش قال قائلها إلى مكارم هذا ينتهي الكرم. Okay. So this is the beauty of this poetry, and I expect that some of you at least will be able to understand and appreciate this. Okay, uh, and Sharh al Qasida, an explanation of this, these lines, is already there. So you can go through. It will only help you. Miss, you should not skip everything. Okay, just I will prepare for exam, so I will study very selectively and focus on certain things. If you don't have time, you can do selective study, but those of you who can read the entire unit, I will recommend that they should do it, because I will say they should do it, because that will certainly help you, okay, improve your language and have a literary taste of the poetry of that time, okay. The next poet, as I mentioned, is Jarir, and Jarir, I have mentioned about him a bit, and you can find his about his life and everything here, that is mentioned here. So I'm not repeating that, and similar is the case with Al Akhtal. Akhtal also details are there about him. so I'm not repeating in along with main features of his poetry and everything. Okay, that is there. So there are other poets also like Zurrumma and many others, many other poets also are also there. So Majnun Laila Qais, okay, Abu Dabal, and many others. So you should at least remember the names of these poets, poets of Umayyad period, and important features of poetry of Umayyad time. Okay, what was the important, what were the important features? Okay, you should able to miss uh, mention. You should be able to write. Those who are going to attempt an examination, that exam should be should those who are writing exam should prepare, should write it all, should practice through writing. You should write certain points several times so that the same points in are sink in your mind and you are able to produce while attempting the exam. Or you can develop your own style. It is up to you. So you are autonomous learner. We do not impose anything on you that this is the style, this is the way, this is all this. It is up to you how you are able to. We need just certain facts. We need certain information that which you should be able to produce when asked in the form, when we ask questions, or when the university asks the question, you should be able to reply. So prepare each and every chapter and important points. Okay, we want only important points. You need not give 5 pages, 7 pages. That is not required. If you write, suppose 2 to 3 pages, but write well, so that is enough. Okay, and you could write in Arabic or in English. It is up to you which language you are going to choose. Okay, so this is Umayyad period poetry, and now poetry in Abbasid period. So Abbasid period is one of the glorious phase of everything. It's all of Arabs, but here flourished Arabic literature as well. Okay? And some of the finest poets of Arabic can be found during this period. So you have Al-Bakhtari, you have Abu Tammam, you have Al-Mutanabbi, you have Al-Ma'arri, and Ibn Rumi, and many others. Okay, some great poets are available here. Okay, so uh, here if you open this, so first is you know uh, first you need to again understand the period. What was the period like? What were its main features? uh, what were the distinction of this time, of this period? How Abbasid period became so famous, and what was important features again of poetry of this period? So all these questions you need to deal with. Okay, you need to focus on. And if you read carefully all this, this text related to Al Asr al Abbasi or Abbasid period, you will find certain important informations and certain important details, and that will help you in your preparation. Okay, uh, so try to understand and go through it, and then you find some eminent poets and like Al-Bakhtari, and little details about his life and his poetry. Okay, and what were the again main features of his poetry, Al-Bakhtari. and with examples from from these uh, his from the his couplets. So, and his style, his status, and all these. Okay, so a lot of detail is there about al-Bakhtari. uh, so you should not just read once or twice, but you need to read it several times. Okay, uh, and make note of all these note and jot down certain important points, and practice writing those important points. Then you have Abu Tammam, and again the details about his life, his work, and important uh, some examples from his uh, poems. And then you have Al Mutanabbi. One Al Mutanabbi is really stalwart, okay, and he is very popular uh, because of depth of his thought and uniqueness of his presentation. Unique kind of Al Mutanabbi had certain like uh, poetry. He had certain wisdom. In his poetry you can find some wisdom poetry, and some uh, thoughtful miss when where you stop and reflect, okay, about on life, on importance of humanity, or about you know uh, uh, about the human being, and about the purpose of existence, and many important questions. In fact, he is raising. Very few people can match, or very few poets can match him in this regard. So he is a towering figure and a great personality of his time, a great, or you can say eminent poet of his time. So if you read his poetry, like see this على قدر أهل العزم تأتي العزائم وتأتي على قدر الكرام المكارم. This is or many other poems are very or كفى بك داء أن ترى الموت شافيا وحسب المنايا أن يكن أمانيا. Uh, he's a great, no doubt, and uh, his poems are also available on internet also. So if you search on net, when with translation his some poems, and after you complete this course, and if you have time, I will recommend that you should never forget Al Mutanabbi, and you should continue to read his poetry for your own motivation. He is such a motivating poet that he will you know uh, bring a smile to your face, and he will motivate you to such an extent that you will start enjoying your work, okay, after you had fallen silent, or after you had left, or you were frustrated or all that. So he has that kind of inspiring ability, and such a motivating poet, okay. So always I will say that focus on him, and after this course, after you complete your PG, and you have some time, so if you can forget other poets, I it's okay, but never forget Al Mutanabbi. Okay, he is really great. Okay, and uh, but again, I'm not saying that you should not read others. Maybe some people may like Al Ma'arri more, or maybe Abu Tammam more, or maybe Al Bakhtari. Okay, it depends upon the individual taste and their preferences. So you are free always, and examples from their poetry are also available, so you can have access and enjoy them. So again, this you need to, the main thing that you need to do is to find out the again main features. Okay, main features of the poetry, or the development of Arabic poetry during Abbasid period. تطور الشعر العربي في العصر العباسي. Okay, this is the main topic. Okay, تطور الشعر العربي في العصر العباسي. And all these poets like Al-Buhtari, Abu Tammam, and Al-Mutarabbi, you know, we have mentioned in this context. But that does not mean that there are not other figures or other great poets. Okay, there are the poets who have equally, excelled in their field in Arabic poetry. Abu Ala al-Ma'ri and you know Ibn Rumi and uh, many others in fact. So there are poets. Okay, but in this chapter we have focused on these three. Okay, uh, and among them I think Mutanabbi holds a pride of place. He holds that uh, greatness, uh, as he has covered some of the very important and touching aspects of life. So he uh, you should not neglect him, I think. Now this is this unit deals with Arabic الشعر في العصر العباسي, but there is also prose writing also developed during this period, just like prose writing developed during Umayyad period and other periods. During pre-Islamic period and Islamic period, not so much prose was there, as I mentioned earlier. All that was there was in the form of khutbah, okay, oral tradition or sermons, not so much written, okay. But during Abbasid period, Abbasid had a flourishing civilization, and people from across the world, they used to come and gain knowledge from their uh, scientists, philosophers, poets, and religious personalities, and mathematicians and astrologers, people dealing with astronomy, all such kind of people rushed to that place, to Baghdad. That was the very important center of flourishing civilization. So they started contributing to that, apart from the people who were there already and who were making a lot of contribution in respective fields. So poetry gained a lot of importance there, and kings and princes, rulers of the time, they gave patronage to some important poets and used to give them some reward, and encourage them uh, to produce more poetry and more good literature. So that was the kind of society when uh, where all these great poets emerged and made contribution. So Abbasid period uh, had great poets, but also at the same time, some great prose writers also emerged during the period. For example, Al-Jahiz. Al-Jahiz is an important literary figure who is who has whom nobody else can match. Okay, in his greatness. So see the books like any Kitabul Bayan wa Tabin, okay, Kitabul Bukhala, Kitabul Haywan. All these great works of literature were produced by Al-Jahiz during Abbasid period. Then you have Ibn Muqaffa, the person who translated Kalila wa Dimna, from Persian to Arabic. And Kalila wa Dimna is a book which is taught even today in almost all universities. Uh, Anywhere Arabic is taught, almost Kalila wa Dimna is there, either in the main syllabus or as recommended books. So the beautiful style or the simple beautiful style that was developed by Ibn Muqaffa became real hallmark of greatness of of Arabic prose writing, and many more people, in fact, in the later phases, uh, did imitate Ibn Muqaffa, and even today people continue to follow him because he has set an example which nobody could match. Okay, so Al Jahiz and Ibn Muqaffa were two eminent figures in the field of prose writing in Arabic during Abbasid period. Then you had Abdul Hamid Al Khatib, okay, Ibn al Hamid. So all these people also did made a lot of contribution in Arabic prose writing. So whenever you suppose write about the development of prose writing in Arabic during Abbasid period, you must mention all these figures, especially Al Jahiz, Ibn Muqaffa, and their works, and also uh, Abdul Hamid and Ibn al Hamid. Okay, these are very great, people. Then you also had have like figures like صاحب كتاب الإمتاع والمؤانسة أبو حيان التوحيدي. Okay, he wrote books like كتاب الإمتاع والمؤانسة, very important, literary work, and it's like Arabian Nights. Okay, uh, it also he has also divided chapters in nights, night 1, night 2, night 3, and in each chapter or night he discusses some important aspects related to Arabic philosophy or to Arabic Sharia, or like some important points related to uh, common moral values or human moral values. Even he discusses importance of grammar, Arabic grammar, rhetoric, and he discusses the role of kings, princes. He discusses the importance of Sufis, and it is so much. In fact, he has touched so many topics, and he has it's a very rich work. And I have read from first chapter to the last several times, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this work. Okay, this is really very beautiful writing. I think Ibn, unfortunately, this person, uh, uh, Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi, he could not survive long, and his work also could not survive because he was fed up with the people, with the society, with the rulers, with everybody. Okay, despite being the genius of his time, and perhaps he could have been like Jahiz, or even he could have produced more than Jahiz had done, and uh, he but he in the very beginning of the book Kitabul Imta wal Muanasa, we find this small information that most of what uh, Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi wrote during the period could not reach us. Okay, the reason is that it was lost, okay, during because of the long time. And one of the most important reason is that after writing, and the piles of the work in fact were with him, with Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi. But unfortunately, despite being such a great writer and great figure, literary figure, he could not get much recognition by his people. He approached several caliph, several umara and khulafa, and several rulers and eminent personalities, and talked about his work, and he wanted them to pay attention to his work and reward him, so that he can also sustain his life and live a very respectful life. But what happened, despite writing so much and contributing so much to Arabic literature, he could not even find, sometimes he had to struggle to have 2 square meal a day. Okay, so he kept hungry himself. He was he remained hungry maybe some for days, and he was penniless. So led a life full of poverty and deprivation. So uh, in frustration and in anger, what did he do? He took revenge. Okay, he said, if I have produced so much work and I have contributed so much, but I am not getting the recognition, and I am not, getting reward, or even, nobody is willing to help me or sustain me. So I will also not help anybody. So what did he do? He collected all his work, okay, and put in a pile, piled his work, and then burned all his books, all the books, okay. He burnt it. So he said, I will not leave anything, okay. If the people are so, cruel to me, so I cannot be merciful to them. I cannot be kind, okay. So if the zamana, if the time is not recognizing me, so I will not also try to not recognize anybody. It was very unfortunate incident. It was really such a great loss for knowledge. Okay, it's such an important figure, such a great personality, could, not even leave his works, despite, see how much, in fact, day and nights he could have spent in producing such excellent work. And only couple of books, in fact, survived, and one of them is Kitab al-Imta wal-Muanasa, okay, in 2 volumes. And really, this is a gem of the work, okay. I really find, I am so fond of this, that I have read Jahiz. I have read his Kitab al Bayan al Tabeen several times, Al Bukhla and Kitab al Haywan, and I have gone through the works of other, in fact, important literary figures of the time. But the way he has appealed to me, nobody else, in fact, because he was so frank, so free, so honest, in fact, and so thoughtful, and, full of knowledge, that he could produce and write with such ease on such complex, issues, on such very, contentious issues, that no other, in fact, person could do it in such an effective and wonderful and exciting manner, okay, with such a beautiful language. He has developed his own style, very different from Al Jahiz. Jahiz may be Imam of his time, he might be Ustaz, but Abu Hayyan al Tawhidi perhaps was no less than Jahiz. That is what I believe, okay. But unfortunately, his works, which maybe hundreds of the books which he produced during his time, could not reach us, because he destroyed all the books, he burned them, okay, in desperation and in utter frustration, and he did not leave anything. This only, fortunately, perhaps he could not find this book, it was lying somewhere else, that is why this book survived, and it has digital, or some couple of other works of his. Otherwise, all the rest has been, has gone to the ashes. So this is very tragic and very unfortunate, but this is what happens when you sometimes do not recognize knowledge, when you do not, give importance to those really who work hard for the for preservation of knowledge, for propagation of knowledge, and for, dissemination of knowledge to the next generation. When those who have, spent whole time their life and time in doing this, they too get frustrated sometimes, that people are there who do not recognize. When there comes to, money, and all, the whole world rushes to it, and it tries to grab, as if, just fill their mouth with anything, in fact, okay, this is just but لو كان لابن آدم وادي من الذهب أحب أن يكون له واديان. Okay, and this is a prophet tradition, that if even, human being, Ibn Adam is, children of Adam, it is there, they are so full of greed, that even if they could find even a valley of wealth, means gold full of valley, a valley full of gold, even if they could discover, immediately they would like to, have one more, okay, and then one more, and walan yumla fahu illa turab, okay, nothing can, fill their mouth except the clay, okay, when they will be gone and buried in this, so great sultan, great kings and emperors, they came, and within a span of time they vanished from this land. Nobody recognizes them, nobody, in fact, gives them damn any importance, okay. There might be, uh, great forts and all these buildings and everything, but all they have gone to the dust. And إذا نلت منك الأد فالمال حي وكل الذي فوق التراب تراب. Okay, so the poet says فكل الذي فوق التراب تراب. Okay, okay, if I could have some good, memories with you, so that is it, that is what we want in life, okay. Otherwise, فكل الذي فوق التراب تراب. whatever on this clay, on this earth, okay, is nothing but earth, the part of earth. So uh, it is, whether you erect important buildings, whether you make something, or it has emerged from the dust, and it will go down to the dust. Okay, that's the reality of life. So in material terms, in fact, okay, always we people are so much, fond of it, and we just fall prey to it. But unfortunately, this hardly sustains for a long time. Just like life, life does not sustain for long, and person, despite whatever effort they make, have to go down, and they will certainly vanish, okay, after some time. How much you have gathered, how much money and wealth you have accumulated, how much doesn't matter, okay. Most of the time, whatever you have accumulated, just like Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi himself in fact written, and I find it very interesting, in fact, in his book, Kitabul Imta al Muanasa. And one sentence is very important, I always quote, in fact, and he says, he says, uh, المأكول للبدن المأكول للبدن والموهوب للمحاك والمحفوظ للعدو. Okay, see the three small sentences. المأكول, whatever you eat is for your body. Okay, المأكول للبدن, okay, you have used it. الموهوب للمحاك, whatever charity you do, work charity means you spend, okay, in the good cause. للمحاك, that is for the afterlife. والمحفوظ للعدو, and whatever you preserve, okay, accumulate, is for your enemy. والمحفوظ للعدو. So al-ma'kul lil-badan, whatever you eat is good. It's used by your body. So that is good use. Al-mawhub lil-mahab, and whatever you spend in good cause or in form of charity, okay, that is for hereafter, means afterlife. Maybe you will certainly get the reward for this. Well, mahfuz lil-adu, but whatever you preserve, okay, whatever you accumulate in terms of wealth, okay, well, mahfuz lil-adu, that is for your enemy. Okay, so sometimes, and most of the times, it does happen, okay? Like, there's those people who never you liked, in fact, in life, perhaps, come to enjoy whatever you had accumulated in terms of wealth in your life, okay, and you kept yourself, you know you never had good meal, you never had good food, you just accumulated everything. What is the use of all that? Okay, certainly it will go, okay, out of your head. So this, this is the man, and just I quoted, a few sentences from his book. Okay, uh, I mentioned the name of Abu Hayyan al-Tawhidi because I find him very interesting figure, and one of those eminent personalities who contributed a lot to the Arabic prose writing. Okay, apart from Al-Jahiz, Ibn Muqaffa, and Ibn Amin, and this is uh, what I wanted to discuss today, and I think I have covered certain important aspects. Uh, you should not always be just follow all that, means to restrict yourself to what I am saying. You should also consult your study material, and the details that we have mentioned there. I think that will be very interesting for you. Prepare your notes, and select certain points, and then discuss with your friends and colleagues and classmates if possible. Or if you do not find anybody, at least you should revise yourself, revise by reading it several times, by writing it several times. The more you practice, the more perfection you gain. Okay, it will happen here. Without practice, without revision, without reading it several times or discussion, perhaps it will be difficult to prepare. So I think we should focus now. Time is short. We should focus on selecting the topics and making the preparation accordingly. Okay. And with this, I would like to conclude today's session. I think if you have any query, any doubt, or you want to raise a question or say anything, okay, related to this program topic or the issue that we discussed today, you are welcome. Okay. Okay. Anybody? Does anybody have any question? Okay. In case you do not have any question, so we close this session and we will meet next time with a new topic and especially the topic that we have not covered so far. So we will meet in the next session and uh, till then, Mahasalama. See you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.